made contact and shattered.
At some point, Chris locates what's called a dry bag.
Law enforcement had considered Laundrie the only person of interest in the murder of his fiancée, Gabby Petito.
Reference to a missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
Turn it over to another agency. Let's get some help.
Hello? It's gone. Everybody's going home.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here for another ATS live stream. We are covering 2 cases today. It's the Eliza Fletcher case that I want to discuss with you guys, and then, of course, the Kiely Rodni case that we all want more answers for, and new developments are happening in that case. It happened overnight. I feel like I thought I was going to be prepared this morning, and then this whole laptop and all that discovery happened overnight. It was happening when I went to bed, and I was in my private chat with CDT and Criminality, Teresa. And I said, I don't see a laptop. I don't know what people are talking about. This was before he made the video of pulling the items up pretty much. And I woke up this morning and I was like, oh boy. Okay, so we got stuff to talk about. I'm going to watch the video of the laptop discovery for the first time with you guys. I kind of skimmed through to see like if I could see myself at the water, but I couldn't make anything out. This obviously was before he pulled the items out. So very interesting. I'm happy to know that the family and law enforcement were on scene and everything was being handled professionally. And I just want to say hi to everybody in chat and thank you guys so much for being here. Stasia, so good to see you. I haven't seen you since like the Watts case, so I'm just happy to have you around, and your brain power is just awesome. So Roxanne, so glad to see you too. And Pink Dahlia, Nikki Rex, guys, I'm like fumbling over my words because there's just a lot to go through, but I see you guys and I appreciate you all. Amanda and Brookie, thanks for being here. If I didn't say hi to you, I see you, and I just want to get through this stuff because as you guys know, the little one wakes up like from any time from now to 9:30, and she'll hang out in her crib, but I mean, right now she's still sleeping. I got the monitor right here, so we're good right now, although she's like, you can see her moving around a little bit. Oh boy. Okay, so let me just pull this video up and we'll watch it together. Actually, you know what? There was something that I just wanted to pull up before the video, and I'll just pull up the Twitter. So give me a second to share my screen. I've been up since like 6:30. My fiance has to go to campus and he had some big presentation, so I've been up since then. And I'm happy to have coffee and start the day with you guys. If you haven't liked this video, please do so right now. If you haven't subscribed, that'd be awesome too. Those are 2 things you can do for the channel to kind of support it, and it's free. So that's just greatly appreciated. And hello, Karen. Okay, so this, I've skimmed through this. I didn't watch this whole thing in its entirety. We're going to start off with the Kiely case because of the new developments. And then we're going to go into the Eliza Fletcher case, which has more of like a conclusion, more answers, it seems, than Kiely's case. And thank you so much for becoming a member, Jonesy. I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm happy to have met you. And I'm just glad that you want to support the channel. And I've linked the membership at the top of chat for anyone else who wants to join. And again, I'm just happy to have you guys all here chatting with me anyways. So thank you.
Up. All right, give me.
Now, is it just me or is this a little bit choppy? Like when I was watching it, I was like, oh, is this my internet? Okay, that's good to know, Stasia. He said he had to call the grandpa and left it up to him whether or not he wanted to give the laptop to the deputy. Very interesting.
So let's read some of your guys' chats here.
Sorry, I just got to pause it. I also heard that the grandfather offered to pay this diver, but he didn't take the money. And the grandpa wanted to get everything off the bottom that was down there. And this guy is saying that he got everything out for him. So, okay, it is his reception. Okay. So that just goes to show that, you know, we already kind of knew that the pinging and all that out there would be a little bit shaky. And yeah, definitely could have evidence on it. I talked to my fiance before he walked out the door. He's a computer science major, so he was a good person to kind of ask. I was like, hey, blah, 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 like gave him the rundown as he's like literally walking out, like with the door open. I was like, do you think that they would have been able to pull anything off the computer, even if they got it out days ago when they went and did the whole extraction sorry guys, of the vehicle and her? Like, do you think that they would have been able to salvage this? And he said, it depends if the computer was on at all. It depends if it was shut off. It's possible. And then that was sort of the answer he gave me. So definitely should have been maybe tried to see what would have happened. I just don't understand why they would leave that.
The beginning. Hello. Hey, how's it going, Locomoco, Jessica Lynn? Hi everyone who's here. All right.
Thank you, Amanda.
I believe it's Kiely. I know what MILF means now. I had no idea what MILF meant. Somebody thought they knew what MILF was.
I'm very surprised that people don't know what MILF means. Like this whole thing going around the last few days, I know you guys have seen it. I don't want to get into the speculation of whether or not that was a pregnancy test in the car. That's all speculation and Facebook. You know, I appreciate the sleuthing, you know, but I'm just not on board with the whole that's a pregnancy test in the picture. But yeah, MILF and DILF, I thought were phrases that have been around for a long time. So I don't know. And yes, I agree, Stasia, with it being an open investigation and it was their duty to take all evidence. They failed by not securing the contents inside. And that 100% goes along with, if anybody watched Duty Ron the other night when Doug from AWP was on there, they kind of talked about the oh my gosh, Amanda, I can't say it. I can't say that word. They talked about when they extravated. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, guys. They talked about when they got everything out of the lake, and it seemed as though, in my opinion, that Ed Wallace, the crime scene retired detective, like he's the expert on the crime scene, it seemed like he was a little disappointed that they decided to flip the vehicle and pull it out. Again, he didn't say the words, I'm disappointed, but you could read it on his face that it just seemed like that's not something he would have done. And I watched that a few days ago. Highly recommend the interview if you guys haven't seen it. So after I play this, after I pull up the photos of what items were pulled out, I'm gonna source back to that Duty Ron video because I got up, seen all this, and then I immediately jumped to that video and like fast forwarded. There's just one clip that I kind of want to go over with you guys and kind of see what your opinion is, because it came off as Doug felt like, even though they did turn the vehicle and pulled it out and the window broke, it seemed like Doug was under the impression that it was done meticulously and efficiently. See, I can say those words. And hello, Sky. It's good to see you. I agree, Mandy. It's interesting that we could see in the AWP the laptop and hairbrush. Yeah, I seen that hairbrush and I was like, and then when I seen the picture of it up on shore, I was like, okay. That was what? I can't remember the exact frame, but I want to say that hairbrush was like in the part where the gear shift is, like the center console area. So the fact that it rushed out the open windows, or however it ended up rushing out and left on the bottom, that's, I don't know. This could go either way. This could go very sloppy, Like we were talking about in our group chat last night, it's either this was done very sloppily and they just think it's an accident and it's just going to be written off that way and it is what it is. Or I'm thinking, and this is me just being positive, do they have enough evidence that they didn't actually need to, I don't know, thoroughly scan the bottom? I mean, it's not really a good excuse, but I'm just trying to understand how this happened. Sorry, guys. I have so many tabs up. I'm like clicking all around to find this video. Should I like fast forward this at all? It's 10 minutes.
And they were wrong. Those who knew Kiely know what MILF stood for. I know what it stands for now. I'm kind of shook up, to be honest. I'm shook up that I'm so mad. You know how we always, like, how some of you guys in the comments were like, the FBI has been there, has swept. We saw people saying, oh, you wouldn't believe the equipment that they have. They found everything. I can tell you this. I just have a paddleboard, a swim cap, it's just some basic gear. And I'm like, why is it that I can find stuff that other people can't? So I guess this is, I have to show you what happened. What I did was I spent about an hour just looking everywhere over there for glass, for, you know, any. I found a small piece of glass which I thought was vehicle glass. To find it, I have found a bunch of other glass that was from bottle caps. So I did that first.
I agree, Twisted Gemini. I agree.
And I found something. I found a lot more evidence, and I tried calling the numbers to report the evidence. Called the local police department here in Truck. They said they're not handling the case. Transfer me there because I keep going area of all the detectives, and that wasn't fun.
I'm gonna skip through a little bit, guys.
That you guys are here. Whoever's on the chat, once I show you what I found, please call Placer County Sheriff. All right, here we go. Hopefully my phone doesn't die. I had to put, my phone has probably 6 for this. I found evidence, more stuff that was in the vehicle. Stuff was in the vehicle beforehand, afterwards, or whatnot, but I'm gonna take you there real quick. My phone dies, I'll come back to the live stream. So, I want you guys to see. It took me forever doing that whole section over there. But this section here, I found a ton of shit. Right in there. Right in here. Right in here. Excuse my language. Tons of stuff. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to take you guys down there.
I just want to pause it real quick and just kind of bounce off chat because you guys are saying a lot of good stuff. Spun one, that one girl said, I think they are absolutely going to try to play this off as an accident. I am myself over this. Where is the FBI in this investigation? Allegedly, the FBI were the divers, according to AWP. And yes, adorable dog. Just loving his life right now on YouTube, that little dog. People are still thinking accident, which is understandable. It's like they didn't even care. I agree, Kate Danielle. It's like, what the heck? That's why I'm like, did they just think like, oh, accident, who cares? Get it out. We're gonna look over the vehicle and the body and the shoreline. That's all we need. Yeah, I hope so too, that they don't try and sweep it under the rug. They definitely should have sent. And that's the thing, is that I'm going to play that clip from AWP on Duty Run. Like, according to him, they had dive teams. Like that picture that we've seen where the still frame of the car coming out of the water, and it has like the back window down halfway, and there's a scuba diver right there with the tank. That allegedly is the FBI diver. Yeah, they mishandled her vehicle instead of using airbags to flip it. Yeah, they didn't do that. Ed Wallace talks about what he would have done. So it's just very interesting to see this, because they should have known that, you know, the web sleuths and the locals, like all this was going to be discovered. So I just don't understand. Yeah, I agree, Judy. I am so grateful for other sleuths that are forcing justice to be served for Kiely. Like, this is just going to put more pressure on law enforcement. I mean, they claim, and we're going to go through that article that came out the other day to the Sun newspaper, yeah, to the Sun, that they couldn't give any information because it's an ongoing investigation. And then retired FBI special agent Coffindoffer was saying on Twitter that they gave us the cause and death for Gabby Petito when it was ongoing. So go figure. And thank you again for being here, everybody. I see people are joining. Good morning.
I've seen some stuff that looks to me to be Kiely's. The string goes out 60 feet. I tied it to that backpack. So watch what I'm going to show you guys. All right, here we go. Look at all this stuff. Look at all this. You see all that stuff down there? I'm going to turn back. Here I go. I'm going to put my phone underwater so you guys can stuff that the supposed investigator found or whatnot. Didn't. All right, here. Stand up. This is such a bad video, I know, but you guys need to see for yourself. Get that I just saw. If no one's gonna come get this stuff, I think I'm just gonna have somebody record me. But here it is. Ready? Coming up for it. Look where I'm at. Look. 20 feet. I'm gonna put my phone in the water. Here you go. Hope you guys see this stuff. Did anybody see that? Let me know if you saw it. Did you see it? Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead, and I did put my phone in the water once already. I did not touch any. I didn't touch anything. I've been waiting here for over an hour. I'll be honest, I'm pissed off that all the stuff is. I'm gonna put it in the water again. Here we go. I don't know if you guys saw that. I hope you did. So there's still a bunch of stuff in there. I would not be surprised if Kiely's cell phone's down there. I said I was going to dive and get this stuff. I'm wondering if anyone cares. Anybody even cares to come get this.
And again, I just really hope that they have her cell phone, and, you know, that's why they felt like they had everything they needed, the body, the car, the phone, whatever else they have. But still, I mean, we're all kind of like, really? I mean, for me, if my laptop was down there and say it could be turned on and whoever, like, I have personal stuff on there, like bank information, and I mean, it's all coded and all that, but still, like, you don't know, like, who has the capabilities of, like, hacking or getting this information, you know? Like, even your email address could be used nefariously.
Go back to the car, but you guys can. It's not a hoax. I'm not lying to you. Maybe the more of us that contact someone to come get this stuff. I mean, the better we're all. I found this stuff within about 5 minutes.
Okay, so then he did like a live stream where he doesn't show the items in the live stream. He just talks about how the grandfather offered to pay him and other things. It was interesting. I sped through. Let me pull up this right here that has the items. This was posted last night after I'd gone to bed. Yeah, 11:25 was right around when I went to bed, and I was like, I don't see anything. We'll talk about it in the morning. But yeah, here's everything that I couldn't see when he showed that picture, you know, with the water. This afternoon, Check It TV, who I met in Truckee, made a dive at Placer Reservoir. Several of Kiely Rodni's personal belongings, including her laptop, were recovered. Apparently, law enforcement did a dive after the recovery. I contacted lead detective Sonny Air, then Kiely's family. It says continued. Beyond family members confirming it was her laptop, there were items found that had names printed on them that proved it was Kiely's vehicle. Also found today were a duffel bag that was empty, cards from Cards Against Humanity, a tin of Bob Ross mints. Who knew? There are items we are leaving out for now. Credit goes to Check It TV for doing an amazing job. And yeah, we definitely thank him for going out there. Just wow. Absolutely crazy. It really is like they didn't care. I hate to say that. And I don't think there was anything else today about this. But yeah, these are the items, guys. What are you thinking? Let me check chat. Yeah, the Rip and Dip is interesting store. Yes, there are House Huddle. Thanks for being here too. Hi, John. Good to see you. Probably nothing, unfortunately. This crap happens when more than one people know. It's incredible. I can't help but have my mind go to conspiracy. Good morning, EE Caroline. Some kind of investigation. What a joke. What can be done to hold these agencies accountable? I guess just exposing this. I don't really know. I mean, I don't know. Seems like police are incompetent or something weird is going on. I agree. Like they didn't want AWP there, we hear. The phone might not show or tell us anything if something took place at the lake. A last minute type of thing happened. The phone was dead. Could be. I've also heard from law enforcement it was either dead or manually turned off. So those are just the facts. We don't know which one. Good morning, Marshall Dove. Yeah, it is disturbing to say the least. I totally agree. It's like so much mishandlement. So much mishandlement. Okay, so now we've got this Twitter thing out of the way. We've shown the laptop. What is next? Okay, hold on. So this, I don't know. Again, this is just Facebook stuff going around in the groups and Twitter and all that. Let me know what you think. But Kiely's friend, Kate, who was a blonde, who was in the interview with Jagger, who has known Kiely since they were kids. Like there was a picture of them in elementary school together. That's how long she's known Kiely. She dyed her hair from blonde to brunette. What do you guys think? Again, this is just a little bit of Facebook speculation going around. This is just the audio of me. Hold on. Okay, yeah. Yeah, this is just the audio from that Sun article where
Kiely
it talks
Rodni's
about
family.
It talks about how the Sun contacted law enforcement and, just tried to get more information about cause and manner of death. So it came out on Tuesday, and yeah, I'm just reading it to you guys here. So I just want to play this, and then there was something else I was going to pull up on Twitter in reference to this. and then some other clips I wanted to play about Kiely, and then we're going to go into the Eliza Fletcher discussion because, I just want to break down these cases with you guys this morning, and we're going to go at rapid speed. So
is eagerly awaiting the results of her autopsy and toxicology tests, but it could be months before they are released as divers speculate whether her death was an accident or not. She's in the back of the vehicle, diver Nick Rin can be heard saying in the emotional video after the team used sonar technology to locate the car underwater. She's not in the driver's seat. It looks suspicious to me. The vehicle's upside down. Some of the one window's half down, one window is all the way down. Many who have followed the case have suspected someone else may be involved, but police are yet to confirm they have spoken to anyone else they feel could be connected. In a statement, police told the U.S. Sun, the Nevada County Sheriff's.
Okay, so just to point that out again. The Sun asked them for information. They're still not confirming if they believe this was foul play or an accident, and this was on Tuesday. So they're not giving any information. They're saying it's an ongoing investigation. They won't say if it's foul play or not. If it's an accident, I mean, at this point, wouldn't they just say that? And I'm not sure, Stasia, about the rumor about the mom being upset with AWP. I heard it was true. Then I heard that it was a fake account and it wasn't true. So we really don't know. And it just reminds me of, we also don't know 100% if Sammy really did get a lawyer. I heard that account was fake, that was showing Sammy saying that she did, but then I heard that it's true. It's just, until we get like an official statement from like the lawyer, like remember when everyone was going after Brian Laundrie, the lawyer spoke out and was like, we don't know where he is right now, but he had nothing to do with this, and we hope that they find Gabby, whatever. So no one has spoken out. It's all rumors. It could be true, definitely could be true. I'm not saying it's not true, but until I hear it from Kiely's mother saying blah blah blah, I'm upset, I'm not going to put much weight into it. It could be true. Same with Sammy getting a lawyer. Like, I'm really thinking it's true, like I hope she does have a lawyer, but who knows? I don't like to just put things out there. Like, yes, I've seen the screenshot everyone's been showing about Sammy saying that she's got a lawyer, but I just don't know if that's a real account. I have no problem playing her interviews and her visually saying things, but if it's just a screenshot, like, I like to discuss it, of course, but I want you guys to know that, like, I'm not sure if that's Sammy's real account admitting that they have a lawyer, but it really definitely could be. Definitely. So again, the Sun is asking for more information. They're saying it's an ongoing investigation, and they wouldn't clarify if they felt it was foul play or not.
Office does not have possession of records responsive to your request. It should be noted, however, that the investigation is not complete and it is considered ongoing at this time. Once the investigation is complete, the release will be pursuant to all privileges and/or exemptions that may apply.
And again, I believe Plunder was talking about how she filed for a Freedom of Information Act and was told pretty much the same thing. Like, you can get this stuff, but not right now. It's ongoing, yada, yada, yada. And of course, like other cases, this channel definitely files for those as well, because I want to share everything I can with you guys. But if they're being told, no, not right now, then, I'm definitely going to wait a little bit, but I will be filing for one as well.
We expect the investigation review and redaction process to be completed by November 1st, 2022. They added that if records are still not available in 2 months, they will further advise the media a new date they may be released. We pressed further on the time frame, and spokesman said the toxicology report, which has not come back yet, will be included with the entirety of what will be released when the investigation is complete and the records are ready for release. They added, death investigations have varying investigative time components depending on the circumstances surrounding the investigation. It's not uncommon for the final coroner reports to take 2 to 3 months to be ready for public release. The Sun reached out to Kiely's family regarding the autopsy and the teen's funeral after it was announced at a local celebration of life ceremony that will take place on September 10th. Linda Lucetti, who has been speaking on behalf of Kiely's family, said no news on cause of death, funeral, body being released, toxicology, etc. She added, all that will come from the sheriff's department and the coroner when they are ready, I guess. Authorities are yet to confirm or deny whether they suspect foul play and did not respond to any further questions.
Okay, so that was the end of the article. That was the Sun pressing for more information, all the information that, of course, everybody on YouTube and everywhere wants to get to the bottom of. That article, I can link in the description box so you guys can read the verbiage yourself. But for right now, I actually screenshotted this one clip of it, and it just kind of stood out to me. We expect the investigation, review, and redaction process to be completed by November 1st, 2022. So that to me, this is officials talking to the Sun. That to me means it seems like they have a lot more behind the scenes. What do you guys take from that? Why would a phone be dead with charger and car? That's ridiculous. Exactly. That's why I'm thinking it was a hard shut off manually by somebody and it wasn't her phone dying. But until they get that exact phone and can look through it to be certain, there are two options they were saying. But in the last live, was it the last one? I think it was the last live stream I did. Maybe the one before that. It was the one before, I think. Either way, I clipped a press conference clip of law enforcement in Kiely's case stating first that somebody shut her phone off. And that was on the 8th of August that they said that in the press conference. And then later in another press conference, they said it was either shut off or her battery died. And without the physical phone, you know, they couldn't be 100%, but they were saying that those were the options. But at first, they said her phone was shut off. And I kind of speculated that they might have said that to begin with because Kiely says the last location she saw her daughter check in on, because it seemed like they had a Life 360 app, which was showing the Prosser Reservoir campground. She said that was the last place that it showed that she was at. So I was thinking, which is the same, like my fiance and I have that app. It can tell you the percentage of the other person's phone battery. So right now I could go on the app and I could see my fiance's on campus right now and his phone battery is at blah, blah, blah percent. So I'm wondering, excuse me, if that's why law enforcement came out and said her phone was shut off. And then later in the investigation, to kind of keep things close to the vest, they decided to not specify, like, was it shut off or not? Again, I'm just speculating. I'm trying to pick apart everything. Hi, allegedly, Brittany, and everyone else who has joined. Good morning, Robert Ryan. Good to see you. So, hi, Florida. Good morning. I agree. I'm thinking the phone was shut off for sure. People are speculating if it was even Kiely who texted the mother at 11:30. It's hard to say, in my opinion. I'd like to think it was, but who can be sure? So what do you guys think of this on the screen, though? They slipped up by saying that her phone was shut off, or that her phone was shut off. That was an interesting clip. If you guys want to check it out, it's like in the last live stream or the one before. It's when the press secretary is wearing that purplish dress, I think, in case you guys want to go source it. So yeah, this to me on the screen is just saying that they have more and things will be released to the public, and they're given the date as November. Like, am I wrong for thinking that, you know, for them to go through the investigation, the review, and redaction process, what's going on here? Are they going to chalk this up to an accident? And redaction, for those who don't know, and I know that you guys know this stuff because you're in true crime, but, you know, they're going to take out the information, like personal stuff, like addresses and people's personal phone numbers, and everyone that's in the discovery files that has certain information that they need to be protected, maybe they're minors, etc. Yeah, it definitely could have been more police screw ups. We just don't know. Yeah, exactly. Why would Kiely shut her phone off? Yeah, it makes no sense. It's very red flaggish, and I'm hoping that this means on the screen that they're much further along than we think they are. But then at the same time, this whole self or laptop being found, etc., is a little troubling to me. So let me, since we're on the topic of the dive and the laptop being found, I think I want to share just a clip from the Duty Ron that they talk about, like the dive, like the whatchamacallit, the process of the items, etc. And I recommend you guys to watch this whole screen. Wow, I'm a jerk. I didn't even liking it. Watch this, guys, the whole stream, but I'm just going to play this last part because I want to kind of review with you guys AWP's witnessing how the FBI dive team handled everything. And from what this interview states, it seemed like everything was done appropriately and efficiently. But now I'm like, this was done, obviously, this interview was done before this diver, local diver, found these items. So now I'm just questioning everything. But what I do also want to share with you guys is it seems, in my opinion, Ed Wallace, who's an expert in crime scenes, and, you know, he's done stuff with cars and water and all that. Like, he's seen it all, obviously retired. You see a lot of things. He didn't seem to agree with the way that they decided to turn the vehicle and etc. And you guys let me know, am I reading him wrong? He doesn't come out and say it. Yeah, Marshall Dub, my theory is changing a lot. I definitely am thinking foul play mostly, but I just can't commit to what type of foul play. And there's a lot of things that go through my head, and I'm just hoping it's not some of the things I'm thinking. But so let's look at this. Let's listen to what they have to say. And then, yeah, I'll check back with chat.
And Paul, if it's okay, I will exchange. I have Doug's number. I'll send him yours, Paul. I'll get Ed's to him, and he's already got mine. Doug, I cherry picked a couple of questions, if you don't mind, and then I know you got to run.
No, take your time. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because so many of them came in, but I just wrote a couple quick. So Gojo sends in a question directly to you, and she says, with respect, this question is asked with respect. Why did only one of your AWP divers go down to film? Did the police divers also go down with you? And did they, I know you might not be able to answer this one, did the police divers, after you guys made the recovery, did you go back down with them? And did they remove anything, or did you guys notice anything fall out into the lake bed? This is a good question, Gojo. Thank you for that. Doug, whatever you can or can't answer.
Yeah. So it typically for us in such, that was extremely shallow waters, and that was rare for us to have that visibility. Like Paul was saying, it's typically what we're finding stuff in that you can't see in, or it would have been found already. So, us diving with multiple guys on one dive, especially in a situation like that where it was very shallow, no current, great visibility. We didn't have two guys in the water, so it was just Nick. I stayed up topside on comms with him. For what it is we're capable of, that was very easy for us to do. Afterwards, once we did our assessment, we brought the authorities in on scene. The FBI then took over, and they were very, very thorough about what it is, every step of the way, as you can imagine. So their divers came in, they took over. There was multiple divers in the water every step of the way, and they did a great job with what they did.
And it looks.
He said very, very thorough. Yeah, Duty Ron is a solid dude. I agree. Guys, help me understand this. Okay, that's good to know. I'm not really hung up on the whole MILF sticker and stuff. I don't It's just teenagers just being jokesters, in my opinion. It could be a brand of clothing. I have no idea. That would make sense. So guys, what do you make of him saying everything was done very, very thoroughly? Hold on, there might be more to this too. Yeah, there is more, because I think Ed Wallace asked some questions. Hang on.
To be tremendous visibility there. I have it back up on the screen. And I mean, again, as you and Ed and Paul has said, most of the time you don't have optimal conditions like this. Was that water cold? Was it warm?
It's about 80 degrees.
So it's like a sauna.
Yeah. So that's another thing we're never used to. We're used to being in really, really cold water all the time. So that was a definitely a first for us. And every case is a first for us. It's different circumstances, different areas, different terrain, and everything about every case is completely different.
Right. And then you have different suits for different environments.
Yep.
That's a good point, Cody, because, okay, he said they didn't even net the windows. So no, not thorough at all. So that's what I was thinking when I'd seen, remember when they had the picture and it had the car and then it had the blue tarp, and the blue tarp was inside the car, coming out. I wish I had the picture to pull up. I mean, I have it on my phone, but to me, and I'm obviously not a detective, but I was just thinking in my mind, for salvaging and keeping items secure and there and in their place, I was confused at them using the blue tarps the way they did. I was sort of like, how is that gonna keep glass in there if there was broken glass? I just thought that it looked strange. I can't find it right now, but I'm sure you guys agree. And obviously you do see that something's just not. It looks strange. I don't know, but I don't know these types of things. But I agree that was strange, the way that they had the windows wrapped.
Yeah, and I've done all my diving in a dry suit. I wear a dry suit all the time. It's just something I'm accustomed to, and most of the year I'm in really cold water anyway, so I don't do too much switching out of my suits. And as far as visibility, that's why we use those great big magnets. There's 2,600 pound magnets. Where I think I may have a car that's 90%, for my knowledge, is a car. When I put that magnet on it, the magnet doesn't lie.
That's
and
right.
What that does is it gives us a line straight to the surface. I'll tie it to a buoy, and then as divers, we're diving down the line directly on the target.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time we can't see, so it's all by feel, coming down the line. And you get onto the car, you orient yourself. Okay, this is the driver's side, this is the rear, this is the front. And it's almost as though, theoretically, with my eyes closed, my hands work better. I can feel a lot better. It's really hard to explain.
Right.
But I can tell you, it's really creepy having your eyes open, looking at chocolate milk, and then.
That's true, Robert Ryan. And it makes complete sense. And if any of us had family members out there like Kiely was, I'm sure we would want that imagery and all that to be protected, because media was everywhere at that. And I understand the curiosity, and I do understand that they were doing it for privacy too. So thank you. I am it just seemed like certain things were a priority that shouldn't have been. I don't know. I understand privacy is priority, but I'm isn't gathering the evidence and keeping it secure most important? It just seems like maybe they just thought at that moment it was an accident. I'm not sure.
Seeing stuff come in front of your mask. So if there's zero viz like that, my eyes are closed anyway. I'm just focused on the car and all right.
And going by feel. Yeah.
Now originally you thought it might have been a boat. Now, had it been a boat, the magnet wouldn't have stuck to it, because most boats in that water is going to be fiberglass.
Right. Right. And that first scan there on side scan, when I captured it underneath the bottom of the boat, it did appear as though it could have been a boat. But that's where, when we find
the car to start to fill
with water, people are now going, sort of just think about the Titanic. People are going to the other. I have a video that depicts this. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to give people PTSD or nightmares to be given to people. But essentially, you could just picture it. The front nose dives, and then it starts to
something that law enforcement needed. We would look for it.
Yeah.
In those.
Guys, I don't know where the minute mark is for Ed Wallace asking about something, so bear with me a second. It's worth finding if I can find it. But there is a segment, or you guys can just watch this, go watch it yourself after this, where it seemed like Ed was not really in agreement with how things were done as far as the car flipping, etc. So I might not be able to find it.
Doug?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you see any of that?
Yes, I did.
See any of that?
We would, if we had information that there may have been something that law enforcement needed, we would look for it.
Yeah.
In those conditions, it would be easy to look for something.
All right.
Yeah, no brainer.
This is not my question that I'm asking you. This is user-generated stuff. What do they do to ensure that everything and anything, i.e. a gun, a knife, a machete, anything, do they sweep the bottom of that floor or not?
It depends. It depends on the situation and the location.
In this case, would you?
If there's something that we're looking for, we would. If we had information that there may have been something that law enforcement needed, we would look for it.
Yeah.
In those conditions, it would be easy to look for something.
All right.
Yeah, no brainer.
He's not letting you off the hook, Doug, and I'm going to let Ed take it. Doug, did you see any of that?
Doug?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you see any of that?
Yes, I did. There was some worry about that. And anytime you're doing an underwater vehicle forensics removal, and there's windows that have been compromised, that should be one of the most direct focus points on that recovery. From what I witnessed, it was, and they did a really good job with what they did.
And you stayed and watched the whole thing, right?
Oh yeah. We were there every step of the way. And like I said, the FBI it took over Placer County Sheriff's Department, Nevada County. At that point, they were extremely focused on what that was the missing link to their investigation. Anytime you have a missing person go missing and nothing to go off of, and there's a vehicle involved, that next step in that investigation is the vehicle. The vehicle is going to turn up, evidence inside of it. It's possibly going to tie you to a suspect, if not the victim or the person you're looking for. So they had that, and they were laser focused once they had that, and they did a really good job.
I would say from a forensic standpoint, if I was on scene and I was advising, if they weren't going to do a forensic underwater recovery of any of the loose objects that could be lost because of the compromised windows, I would want those windows wrapped.
Yes.
To keep things inside the vehicle, especially when they were going to flip the vehicle over and ride it to pull it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the comment I wanted you guys to hear. How it, in his opinion, he would have done it differently. And obviously, maybe Ed Wallace's technique wouldn't have had this laptop and other items come out the way they have. This stream was done before it came out that, oh, hey, I'm a local. I just dove in and just grabbed this stuff. So why weren't the windows wrapped? Oh, good morning, CDT. It kind of feels like they wanted to lose evidence. It definitely doesn't feel like they wanted to preserve it. It's just I think Doug is trying to be very diplomatic here because AWP wants to work with law enforcement in the future. That's a good point. That's a good point and good angle. Until the investigation's done and everything comes out, it wouldn't be a great look for him to go up there and bash, maybe. I don't know. I see what you mean for sure. He's definitely diplomatic and fair. Plus, he's representing AWP himself there. So he can't give his opinion, and maybe the other members don't feel that way or whatever. You know what I mean? So I definitely see what you mean, and that's definitely fair. And good morning, Allison. Good to see you. AWP was in the guys' chat last night. He had all Kiely's items laying on the beach area. Cops finally showed up to get, cops, my bad. Cops finally showed up to get them. What was AWP saying in the chat? Do you know? Yeah, I'm sure AWP is not happy. Okay, guys, I got to fly through this because I did not expect us to be going at 15 minutes still. Yeah, I got things to do, guys. But look at Ed Wallace shaking his head here. Don't you guys think he's kind of like disappointed? And this was before the items were found, so rightfully so, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, especially when you're considering, you know, any recovery of a vehicle. And this is my expertise because I've done it my whole life in the towing industry. You can never account for everything during a recovery, no matter where it is, on land or underwater, especially underwater. Underwater, you're adding risk factors to your recovery that you can't account for, different buoyancies and all so forth. You know, so you gotta be very careful during these recoveries. It's really, really meticulous how you got to go about it, especially when you're talking about protecting the integrity of what's inside of that vehicle. That's one of the most critical aspects of this. Thankfully, we're not working with a huge current that, you know, immediately is gonna, you'll never find anything that comes out of the vehicle. Almost, it's almost impossible. Where there was no current there, really good visibility. You know, it's yeah. There's things that I could pick apart about it, but they did a good job.
How far away was your guy filming this? I'm sorry, Ed. I got to get this out there.
Yeah, we're right on the shore, right next to him, right there the whole time.
This angle right here, it looks like it's inside the water.
Well, this is just right on the shoreline. So there's a little curve there to the right of the screen, and then there's just an adjacent shoreline right there. So it's basically right there out on the water's ledge.
And that's the FBI diver coming out with the car?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's another one too that's in the water. You can't see right here on camera.
Again,
there's a news station there locally that live streamed the entire thing.
I have it. It was from the helicopter, right?
Okay, and again, that was a very interesting live stream. Interesting to look back and see their comments there about what they would have done, what they wouldn't have done, what was done. So there's a diver down there as that photo was being shot. And why did he just leave the stuff there? I don't know. Very, very strange, and highly recommend you guys watching that stream. I'm going to link it in the description box too, because I did not expect all this to happen overnight and it wasn't in my lineup. So let me check what I want to share. Guys, I was going to share this Kiely Rodni segment from Law and Crime, but I just feel like we've gone over a lot. I'm skimming through it right now with my mouse. I just feel like Doug answered a lot already. And if you want to watch that, go over to Law and Crime. But I got to move on to the other case that I wanted to discuss. So actually, AWP was on News Nation giving his opinion about the Eliza Fletcher case. So I want to play that, and then I'm just going to play some other things too in relation to that case as well, because I just want to touch on it and speak through it because I've been following it. So one thing I wanted to show, so this right here about Kiely, post-mortem toxicology toxicology tests, an important part of autopsy reports, are very different from toxicology screens performed in living persons. Results may take 4 to 12 weeks since testing is far more complex, involving not only blood but also tissue samples and complex calculations. And they pull from your spleen to get toxicology as well. So that's another way that they can do that. And then it goes on to say, when pressed further on the time frame, a spokesperson for Nevada sheriff said, and that's Nevada County, by the way, the toxicology report, which has not come back yet, will be included with the entirety of what we will release when the investigation is complete and the records are ready for release. So that kind of gives us more of them reiterating, we'll give you the stuff when the investigation is done and the redaction process is done, which they told the Sun that would be done by November 1st. So we'll see, guys. I mean, I didn't think that we would be able to comment much more on this case until those cause and manner came back. But with this laptop being found and other items, it's like there's still a lot to process here. Okay, so what I want to do, okay, yeah. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. I really appreciate you all joining me this morning.
Joining me right now to talk about this case. I know you've been on the show a number of times, especially talking about some of the high profile and recent missing person cases that you all have assisted with. But you and your team obviously have a very difficult job to do. When you have a missing person, as was the case for the past few days with Eliza Fletcher, what exactly do you tell the family? Do you have anything that you say to console them with when there are so many questions?
In such a tragic case such as this, there's 34 years old. She's a mother of two. There's no real right words to give a family that's, holding out so much hope in this. But I can say that, MPD and the FBI did come together and were able to get on this suspect's trail really quickly. They did not drop the ball. There was so many balls dropped by the suspect here as far as being caught on camera. His cell phone data is actually what led them to finding Eliza.
And obviously, like you said, this quick moving investigation, only a few days. She went missing on Friday, and then they found the body and confirmed that. But typically during a case like this, how much time do you have to wait for when you found this discovery, and then there has to be the official autopsy report?
Yeah, these investigations, especially ones this big, are all determined by who's involved. The FBI is involved here, so this shouldn't take long at all. And as far as looking for the actual suspect in the search of itself, every minute counts. In such a fresh case, every hour that goes by is critical to investigators. From him being caught on camera, abducting her, from the multiple traffic cameras he was caught along his route. They were able to trace his route. They were able to get to him. They were able to get to his cell phone data, which led them to the body. And this unfolded really, really quickly, and they were on it every step of the way.
And in cases like this, do you think we'll find out more information and details now since this her body was discovered?
We have a 34-year-old mom of two that goes missing. She's an heiress to a multi-billion-dollar fortune. This is a big investigation. There could possibly be other implications involved here. But we are talking about a career-long criminal who's been charged with assault, weapons charges, violent carjacking, a violent rape, and who was convicted of a violent abduction already. So is this just a tragic crime of opportunity? It very well may be, but the FBI is going to do a really good job, and I fully expect there to be more information to come out here shortly.
All right, Doug, we really appreciate your.
So what do you guys at as far as that case? Do you think that it's a crime of opportunity and this poor woman was at the wrong place at the wrong time? Or do you think that there's more to it? People are saying, the linkage to her family's law firm and all that. Like, we'll get into that. Actually, they talk about it in these court TV clips I wanted to play with you guys. And we were flying through this stuff just because we spent a lot of time on the Kiely case. And I forgot to mention a main point that I wanted to mention. It was something that I had seen on Twitter. So I'm just going back to the Kiely case real quick, and then we're going to move forward still with this Eliza Fletcher one. So back to Kiely. 1 second, guys. And thank you so much, Tom N. I'm so glad you're here. And thank you to the new subscribers. I've seen a lot of new faces, a lot of new names in the chat. And I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so this question on Twitter. If the tow truck driver really saw Megs and whoever else was with her when they drove around for 12 hours straight trying to find her, why didn't they see Kiely's vehicle? Where are all the other people who went to Donner Lake on Saturday? So remember in Meg's interview, she was talking about how they drove around for 12 hours on Saturday looking for Kiely. So this person on Twitter is saying, if the tow truck driver is correct, that was at 11 in the morning on Saturday, why weren't they seen, if that's Kiely's car and that's Kiely? Fair question. Just wanted to throw that out there. Now let's go back to, what do you guys think? Was this a crime of opportunity, or is there something more to that? Cody said no, it was premeditated, that it was confirmed in his charges. So he stalked her, and he just figured he would just act out. Probably been planning this ever since he was in prison to do it again. And thank you so much for becoming a member, Katie. So glad you're here. I really appreciate that. The kidnapper just did 20 years for kidnapping. Yeah, and it was like a violent kidnapping too. Apparently he must have known her running schedule. And no problem, Vicky. It's a very interesting case, and it seems to be unfolding rather quickly. They haven't really mentioned the motive and all that yet. So, I'm not 100% on what it is either. So let me just pull up the timeline for this, and then we'll get into the Court TV segments that I've kind of gone through. Did you guys see Court TV yesterday? They spoke about this. I just wanted to know before I played it, how many of you guys seen that? It was really interesting. I'm only going to play a few minutes of the clips, but you guys should check out the whole thing.
September 2nd at 4 in the morning, Eliza Fletcher, an avid runner who was qualified for the Boston Marathon, goes for a run around 4 a.m. She takes her usual route near the University of Memphis, according to authorities. While running down a stretch of Central Avenue around 4:20 a.m., she is abducted and forced into a dark-colored GMC terrain. According to an affidavit, investigators reviewed CCTV footage from near 3776 Central Avenue, which showed the GMC terrain passing and then waiting for the victim to run by. Police say the CCTV footage captured the same car in the area of the abduction 24 minutes before Eliza Fletcher was taken. TBI posted on Twitter the image from the CCTV footage. And a spokesperson from the Memphis Police Department told Fox News Digital that it located the dark-colored GMC terrain, which was earlier labeled a vehicle of interest, and added that the male occupant of the car has been detained for further questioning. This male is later identified as Cleotha Ebston, 38. He then aggressively ran towards Fletcher when he forced her into the passenger side of the SUV, court documents say. Police also said there appeared to be a struggle when Eliza was pulled into the SUV. The affidavit stated that the GMC terrain sat in a nearby parking lot for 4 minutes while Eliza Fletcher was inside, before driving off with her. 6:45 a.m. court documents state that a resident was riding his bike on Central Avenue and found the victim's cell phone, as well as a pair of Champion Slide sandals laying in the street in the same area. The resident gave these items to one of Eliza Fletcher's family members, who then turned them over to the police. The Champion Slides were sent to the lab for DNA testing by TBI. By 7:45 a.m. on September 2nd, Friday, Memphis Police Department received 2 separate phone calls from Richard Fletcher III, who is Eliza's husband, and from the University of Memphis, reporting her missing after she failed to return from her run. By Friday afternoon, September 2nd, MPD says in a Friday briefing that the department is not aware of any connection between Eliza's abduction and reports from the start of the semester that someone had been harassing members of the university.
Okay, so do you guys think that this person that was harassing members of the cross-country team at the university is Cleotha? And thank you, Tom, for the super chat. He said, killer never had a prior committed against an unknown victim, possibly a higher job. What tells me that it's not how sloppy this guy was. Yeah, I mean, people were questioning why the shears were taken out of the house. Did he know the family? They were saying that law enforcement was saying, like, up until very recently, from what I saw, that they didn't feel like it was anything but an isolated incident. But again, this is moving very quickly, and a lot of questions still linger. So I'm definitely up for other things being questioned and on the table as a possibility. It's so new still, and it's just rapidly moving this case. And that reminds me, I saw Ashley Oakes in here earlier. I wondered if she was still here. I forgot to say hi to her. And hello, good morning, allegedly. I'm glad you made it. We talked about Kiely in the first part of the stream, so in case you missed it, you can go back or just watch from here. We're happy to have you here.
Women's cross-country team as they ran in the area. DNA samplings from the champion slides were found to be linked to Kiely Abduction, who was named a person of interest in the Eliza Fletcher's abduction case. Using this information, investigators were able to obtain CCTV footage from a Malco Theater's location on North Germantown Parkway that allegedly showed Abduction wearing the champion slide sandals. Investigators also obtained cell phone records of Kiely, which placed him near 3876 Central Avenue at the time Eliza Fletcher was forced into the GMC. Later on, authorities took a white Jeep Grand Wagoneer from in front of Fletcher's home, according to Memphis 13. By the evening of September 2nd, on Friday, 10:25 p.m., MPD said on Twitter, due to the investigation of Eliza Fletcher, who is missing, please avoid the area of Central Avenue and Zach H. Curlin Street. Traffic is down to one lane in both directions. Please avoid the area if possible. September 3rd. On Saturday at 10:45 a.m., members of the U.S. Marshal Service located the GMC terrain in a parking lot at the 5700 block of Waterstone Oakway where Abduction lives, according to the police, who then said that a male matching the description of the suspect was spotted. He attempted to flee the area, but officials took him into custody. Police said that two people, including Abduction's brother, Mario, told officers that they had seen the suspect cleaning the GMC terrain with floor cleaner and adding that he was washing clothes in the sink. Mario Abduction told police that his brother was acting strange. After the police took Kiely into custody, he declined to tell investigators where Eliza was. Police also say that Eliza Fletcher suffered serious injury and left evidence of blood in the vehicle the defendant cleaned. September 4th, Sunday at 2:39 a.m., MPD released a statement on Twitter with an update stating the vehicle interest has been located and a male who was occupying the vehicle has been detained.
And as you all know, on the 5th, they find the body of Eliza, unfortunately deceased. So let me just switch screens and share some more stuff quick, and then I got to skedaddle, guys. And thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. CDT, are you going live today? Because obviously I want to plug your stream if so. And thank you, Robert Ryan, for becoming a member. I really appreciate it.
The police investigators actually cleared this scene earlier this afternoon, Vinny. So I'm standing right now where the body of Eliza Fletcher was discovered yesterday by the Memphis Police Department. So this vacant house behind me is where the FBI led the investigation. And you can see, of course, the memorial that's growing with balloons and teddy bears and flowers. It's here at the house. It's also on the street corner to my left. But according to the affidavit, Vinny, this house tipped off the investigators. They first talk about this tall.
I sped it up one notch. Is it too fast for you guys? Like, I watch things at like 2 times speed, but I know that sometimes it's too fast. So is it okay that I sped it up to 1.25 speed? Can you guys still kind of understand it?
Grass that you see when the driveway ends, and of course to my left there were tire tracks in this grass which led them to move towards the back of this home. Once you go to the back of the home to my left, there's another door with some steps like this behind me. According to the affidavit, they located the body of Eliza Fletcher on the other side of those steps, sort of concealed by the back of this house, some steps, and this very, very taller than me grass vacant lot to my left. I'm in South Memphis. This is where I'm located, the corner of Person Avenue and Victor Street, Vinny. And again, this was the site that the remains were located. I've been here most of today. A lot of
Good morning, Duty Ron. So good to see you in chat. I'm so happy to have you, and the chat is definitely happy to have you too. He said, good morning, lots to unpack from last night. I agree. Like, I can't even comprehend it or wrap my mind around it completely right now. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it and Ed's thoughts as well on it. It's just like crazy. So thank you so much for popping in, and good morning to you guys. And yeah, thank you, Tom M, for becoming a member. I'm all like flustered because Duty Ron's here. Hold on, and this speed is okay for you guys as I continue this, because I definitely don't want to play it if it's too fast.
Community members are driving through this area because they know this is where she was found. So they're leading, of course, the flowers, balloons. They just want to see what it looks like. I've talked to several of them. Most of them are saying just how shocked and disturbed that this happened in their hometown. I'm about to talk to a woman who's here now who said that she and her goddaughter drove around this area just searching while Miss Fletcher was missing for several days, had a hunch that something was happening in this area because that's where the suspect who had been arrested on Saturday lived close by. His brother did, Vinny, and they said they were really tipped off by the smell, this pungent smell, odor of decay, which, as I even stand here now, you can catch glimpses of that odor. It's just a very solemn, disturbing scene.
Absolutely. Well, let's start first by talking about the victim, Eliza Fletcher. What can you tell us about her? I spoke a lot in the top about her being a mother, and that was the first thing that caught my attention.
This little part here that she does is really nice because it really gives us even more, I don't know, I just really think she summed it up really well, and it gave me more of a picture of who Eliza was, even though we've seen her singing on camera to her students, and we know that she's a mother, but it's just, she did a good job here reporting it. And I was sort of like shocked to hear her say that even this was filmed yesterday. She was found on Friday, or I'm sorry, she was found on the 5th, not Friday. And she's still saying that the decomp smell was pungent. So that's troubling.
Tell us about her.
Yeah, Vinny, she was a 34-year-old mother, devoted wife, a churchgoer. She was a kindergarten teacher at St. Mary's Episcopal School here in Memphis. She loved her classmates. Her school sent out statements today honoring her life, how heartbroken they are. Her family sent a statement, how heartbroken. Of course, the family is asking for privacy to grieve. She was someone known to sing to her students. So her school this morning sang This Little Light of Mine in honor of her during their chapel this morning. 14. And when she went missing, this was something running. She did every morning, Vinny. When I was at the site of her abduction, which is about 20 minutes from here, I'll be there the next hour on your show to show you that. I ran into her neighbor who lives 3 doors down from where she lives with her 2 boys, and he was hanging a wreath at the intersection where she was abducted. In the early morning hours on Friday morning. He said she would run every morning. That was her routine. She was training for the Boston Marathon. He told me that she was a, quote, amazing, amazing, amazing person. He told me to drive by her home, Vinny, because if you drive by her home, instead of the formal dining room in the front of her house, you see a playroom. You can see crafts hanging on the window. You can see a big sandbox that's out front, her front door. Instead of a flower bed, it's a sandbox. There's toys in the front yard. It just compounds the tragedy of this case, knowing that her priority, it seemed, was her students, of course, and her children and her family and her home.
Yeah, we talk about school teachers all the time, right? And this is someone who, you have your own children and then all the kids at school as well who were like her children. Let's talk about now Friday morning and what happened and what we know about the timeline of events here.
Well, she was last seen around 4 a.m.
Hey there, it's your neighbor, Ontario.
Hey there, it's another ad because I don't have YouTube Premium or ad blocker. But no, that goes on. There was just another part in that I wanted to share. And we already went through the timeline. I read it to you guys. So we don't need to play that part. But let me just share this other part in the Court TV segment. And again, you guys check it out. I'll link it. I'm terrible with the links. I'll link them in the description box as soon as I go live. And yeah, I seen that Miss Harmony people did a run in her honor at 4 a.m. I'd seen Special Agent Coffindoffer posted about it, I think, on Twitter. In solidarity, they decided to do a morning run because, it's just unfortunate. She should have been able to, because people are shaming her for running at the time she did. And, while you do have to be cautious and careful, it's like, it's unfortunate that, like, we can't just go out for a run like that, you know. Bookmarks. But yeah, pretty much it said that locals were doing like a 4 a.m. run in solidarity. So thanks for reminding me of that. And that was very nice to see. They finished the run for her. Yep. That's very touching. So this part, the gentleman in the top right is a medical examiner, and he does a lot of commentary on mainstream media. We've seen him in the Watts case and Gabby Petito. All these cases, he's making his presence known, and his opinion is obviously valuable. He talks about things that they'll be using on the body and forms of, you know, kits that they use in case there was an SA. So watch the whole segment. I'm only going to play the last part of this. So good information here too, guys.
They're going to be doing nail clippings. They're going to try to ferret out every bit of trace evidence that her body will offer up. And of course, we still have yet to find out what her cause of death is. And I'm waiting to find out what that is. Whatever it is, it's going to be quite brutal, I think.
Jen Chen, what are they doing with those shorts at the crime lab?
Well, they're going to be looking for any evidence of his, body fluids on them, semen, blood, etc. But I did want to say that, this crime in particular it's classic. It's very classic for today's day and age. So the two things is, number one, the videos. That there are videos, as you say, everywhere. And now in the homicide scenes now, that's the first thing they do. They go out, they canvass all the different buildings, they pull all the video, we send out our people and they download everything, and then they go through everything to see what information they can find. And the second thing is to look for wear DNA and stuff left behind at the scene. There's nothing better than a hat or a shirt or shoes or something that has someone's DNA in it. If you can tie the evidence to the scene itself, you can analyze it and run the DNA in a database and get a name. And so the two things that we want so badly in homicide investigations these days are those two things, and they had them both. And it just made this case, come together so quickly. So it was just really interesting to see that.
Extremely quick. And sometimes we're covering a lot of cold cases on this show. We're covering mysteries, cases that have not been solved. This one looks like it's solved. We're going to have more on the investigation. Our guests are staying with us. Joseph Scott Morgan, Ted Golden, Jen Chen. We'll be right back.
Think you know Amazon? You'll be amazed by our hourly job.
The Marshal Service has a very unique relationship with the Memphis Police Department. At any time they call, we're there to assist. We were glad to receive their call.
And I just want to say hats off to U.S. Marshals for conducting the footwork for this and helping to bring a conclusion rather quickly. Anytime I see a case and it's mentioned that the U.S. Marshals are involved in it, I'm just I feel a little bit of relief. I feel like they're obviously the best of the best. And I have more faith and trust in them than other agencies, and including other federal agencies. So they just really did their job here, and I definitely commend them. And we love to see good police work.
On Saturday, when a suspect had been identified, we then went about finding the suspect vehicle in question, as well as the suspect himself. He was spotted, the vehicle was spotted in an apartment complex, and we also conducted surveillance on him. And then when he tried to make a move, we went in and made the arrest safely and took him into custody and turned him over to the custody of the Memphis Police Department.
U.S. Marshals working with Memphis police in this case, working together very well in making an arrest for the murder of Eliza Fletcher in Memphis. Still with me, Joseph Scott Morgan, Ted Golden, Jennifer Shen. Ted, I want to ask you, former Memphis police officer, but you're a former DEA special agent. How about this cooperation between the feds and the locals in putting all this together?
The U.S. Marshal Service has a fantastic system set up. If you commit a crime and they've got any inkling information on you, they're going to get you. And they're very efficient about what they do. I supported them in the past here in Atlanta by providing them data when they were looking for someone to kill a police officer many years ago. The Marshal Service, they have unbelievable techniques and ways of locating defendants. I don't want to give them up, but they're very efficient, very effective, and sometimes within hours or even a few short days, are able to locate suspect anywhere in the continental United States and sometimes even in the world.
I want you to take a look at more information from the affidavit. Jen Chen, this is what you were talking about. This is at the scene of the abduction. Champion slide sandals found with the victim's cell phone at Central and Zach H. Curlin Street. Champion slide sandals sent to TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, for DNA testing. DNA from those sandals matched the defendant in this case in the CODIS database. Seemed to happen pretty quickly. What is that?
Okay, so they're just going to go into, why this happened so quickly. Obviously, the database and the evidence being left there rapidly accelerated things. I do want to just skip around and go to the last part because I feel like it was it stuck with me and I found it interesting. And again, this whole thing will be linked in the description box.
Any kind of violence, of course, is unacceptable, but repeat violent offenders particularly deserve a strong response, and that's what they'll get from this district attorney's office. We will continue to cooperate with law enforcement and work closely with them, as we already have, so that we can do our best to bring justice to this tragic situation.
Repeat violent offender. This is someone who served decades in prison, gets out and does all of this and is locked up again? Why? Let me bring in my guest. Joining me in Los Angeles, California, forensic psychiatrist, trial expert witness, and columnist of Inside the Criminal Mind. Dr. Carol Lieberman is with us. Dr. Lieberman, great to see you.
So yeah, she just brings really good insight. I'll play in 1 second. Thank you, Tom, and for the super chat. U.S. Marshals are better than FBI. I definitely see where you're coming at from there. For sure, can see that. It's what I'm hearing word on the street too. Go to Check It TV has another video. We'll tell you a lot more. And good morning, everyone new here. Thanks for being here, and thank you for the super chat. And yeah, hats off to that channel for exposing what we just uncovered in the Kiely case, and seeing stuff was indeed left behind, and their process obviously wasn't as efficient as maybe they wanted all of us to think, or maybe they thought that it was done well. I'm not sure. A lot to kind of wrap my head around there too. Yeah, Memphis PD and the feds did a great job. This is good police work. Agree. And isn't it interesting how we can, as web sleuths, I mean, we just watch this stuff from our house. Like, we're seeing all these cases happen. And this one, you can just tell, like you said, just good police work. It just makes sense, like the way that everything was efficiently done and all that. It's just a relief to see. And then we have cases like Dylan Round's case where it's like, what is going on here? And that's another thing, another reason why I did these two cases in this one stream, because I have stuff for the Dylan Round's case. I'm not, forgetting it or dropping it. I want answers for that. Eliza was found and Kiely was found. Dylan's family deserves him to be found, and answers for that. So that's still a rabbit hole that I'm still in. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm not going to be talking about that case still, because I am. So that's probably going to be my next live stream.
See you. Let me put up I want to put some information from a news report so folks have a little more background about this defendant. And then I'll ask you to try to answer that question for me tonight. Why? In June of 2000, this defendant kidnapped a lawyer at gunpoint. He was forced into the trunk of his car before being forced to drive to a gas station to withdraw money from an ATM. The defendant was charged with aggravated robbery, especially aggravating kidnapping, and was sentenced to 24 years in prison. His lengthy history in the juvenile system prior to his conviction for the kidnapping dated back to 95, when he was no older than 12 years old. Take me inside that mind. Why would someone who spent 20 years in prison, gets a second chance, maybe it's a third or fourth or fifth chance, whatever, and then just goes out and commits an even worse crime?
Yes. Well, first of all, the case is with the first crime that he committed, or the one that he was charged with first in any case, the arrest at 12 years old for rape and assault. Now, for a 12-year-old child to commit rape and assault and be arrested for it, what that shows is, first of all, that he comes from a very violent home, that the home overstimulates him sexually. There is something sexual going on in there that is inappropriate. And it also says, because it's a rape, it also says that he has a bad relationship with his mother. And it also says that there is no morality in his home. And, he then, when he was 16 years old, is when he had this kidnapping of the attorney. So this is a man who really, from a very, very young age, had these sociopathic, antisocial habits, frame of mind drummed into him because of where he grew up. And, it's interesting that the kidnapping is interesting because there's the question of whether this was a random crime, a crime of opportunity. Was he just in his car and he saw a woman, an attractive woman running in the middle of the night, and so, did that sort of reactivate his impulses? I mean, that's possible. But the kidnap was of this man, Kemper Durand, who worked in a law office where Elizabeth Fletcher's uncle worked. So there is this possibility that there is a more complicated connection, that she wasn't a random attack, but that it had something to do with this for the same reason why he kidnapped the man at 16.
The other part of this is the reports are that he was there like for 24 minutes, kind of lying in wait.
Right.
That tells me there may be some level of planning here, or why else would he be up at 4 o'clock in the morning driving around this neighborhood?
Yes. Now, I mean, there were some attacks on the cross-country team of the university. So there was a theory that, maybe he was the person who had been attacking some of these previous people or lying in wait for these previous girls who were going by. But I think that, this connection to the uncle is maybe that's a red herring, but it certainly is something that needs to be explored. To go into the morality aspect of it that I mentioned and the issues with his mother, his mother is now hiding. She's in communication, or was, with his uncle, but she told his uncle she doesn't want to have anything to do with this. And the only thing that she cares about, what makes her she's okay, except for the fact that she doesn't like the media trying to, and I guess the authorities, the police, trying to get in contact with her. Otherwise, she's okay. Now, can you just think about that? No apparent caring about the woman who died. I just don't want to be bothered with this, is what she said.
Unbelievable. Incredibly tragic again for Eliza Fletcher, but it seemed like this was a ticking time bomb, this guy,
yes,
after being let out. I mean, he grew up in prison, basically. Dr. Carol Lieberman, always great to get your insight. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You see this black box right here? Well,
Okay, so that was just a little bit of expert opinion on that perpetrator. Very interesting. And thank you, Tom, and again for the super chat. I wonder if U.S. Marshals were allowed to get involved because it was on university property. It seemed like, maybe the fact that she was a billionaire and that aspect too, like universities are huge for bringing in business and all that to areas. They want to make sure that they get this wrapped up so that it doesn't affect enrollments. Is that where you're getting at there? Because I could definitely see that for sure. Yeah, Naomi, I definitely see like the similarities with the profiling of the perpetrators and the act in itself, just career criminals, bad people. I heard car belongs to mom. Okay, guys, I went over. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to show you something. But yeah, I got to get going. Like, I did not expect us to dig into this stuff this long. But I do want to share with you. Just this footage of where Eliza was found. It's just, it's hard to watch, but I found it interesting, guys. Because she deserved so much more than this. I see what you mean, Tom. You guys get the point. Just very sad. Just, hearts go out. Let's fill the chat with hearts and prayers for the families, both families in our discussion today. We definitely want justice for the victims. If there's foul play involved in the Kiely case, if there's bad police work even involved in the Kiely case, because, at this point, how are we even going to have faith in the conclusion? I don't know. It's going to take a lot for us to kind of get over that at the bottom of the lake. It's too much, guys. But thank you for being here. Thank you so much. I got to get going, like I said a million times. So bye, guys.